What's good, everybody? My name is JC Valdez, and you are watching Underground EDU. Now, in today's lesson, I'm going to be talking about how to have a conversation with a stranger. Now, I know in today's world, this is something that is much needed. The reality is, every time I look around, there are people who are on their phones, there are people who are on their laptops. We are essentially engaged with technology all the time. Now, let's start with the very first thing that you should do before you have a conversation with a stranger. You want to be presentable, just being hygienically pleasing. Like, make sure you smell good, make sure you look good. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you are reading this person's body language. If you don't understand the basics of body language, then you should watch that video first before coming to this video. Let's say you want to talk to a stranger for whatever reason, and they're on their laptop and they look to be very intense and they're like really into what it is that they're doing. Then that may not be the moment that you want to approach this person and talk to them. That moment could be they're bored. That moment could be, they finally are online and they're like about to order something and they're not doing anything in particular. They don't seem to be on the phone. Always be mindful, read a person's body language before you approach them and have a conversation with them. The next thing you want to do is you want to be mindful of your emotional state. What you're feeling on the inside is going to be telegraphed in your body language. Well, let's say you're feeling really anxious before you say anything to this particular stranger, then you're going to telegraph your feelings to this person. Don't let that stop you from talking to this person, but just be mindful that if you're a little nervous, this person may be able to read that off of you. If you are nervous, then it may not be a bad thing to acknowledge that you're a little bit nervous, right? In that moment, it actually shows that you have social intelligence. But if you, let's say in the case that you're really enthusiastic to talk to this person, then you could just talk to this person. Another thing I just want to mention is that if you are, let's say, a person who has a lot of social anxiety, because most people deal with some level of social anxiety, before you talk to, let's say, a person that you'd like to influence or you'd like to date or you like to make your friend or you just like to get to know, go around and just say hi to a bunch of people. Like, hey, hi, how are you? Build up to it. Hey, how are you? How's your day? And then build that to, hey, how are you? How's your day? Oh, wow, I really like your jacket, right? Then try to push yourself to have, a conversation about something that has nothing to do with what you just complimented them on. So your tone is something that's really important to be mindful of. I don't want to come across aggressive. I want to come across almost like I'm enthusiastic. Make sure that your tone matches that enthusiasm, right? Whenever you've met a person that's a stranger and they've come up to you and they've done it successfully, there's a slight level of enthusiasm or happiness that's in their voice. Another thing you want to make sure that you're doing when you approach, in addition to being enthusiastic, is to smile. This is something that a lot of people don't do. Your face is going to indicate to them whether or not you are a safe person. The smile is a warm invitation. Another thing that you want to do when you're having a conversation with a stranger is to not stay on any one particular topic. If you talk to somebody for the first time and you say something like, hey, listen, man, I really like your jacket. You say, where'd you get that jacket from? And they go, oh, I got it from Tommy Hilfiger. Oh, man, that's cool. And then what you want to do is you want to transition off of that topic. Talk about something else. By being able to transition from story to story or from topic to topic, that's a skill that you have to develop over time. But recognize that when you're talking to somebody for the very first time, they have a very small attention span typically. If you're reading their body language and they seem to be really into what it is that you're talking about, then great, continue having that conversation with that person. The other thing I want to mention that's really important in meeting strangers is to be yourself. A lot of people are not themselves when they have conversations with strangers. For whatever reason, they want this person's approval. That is not a good thing for a variety of reasons. One, because you're going to be fake. Two, because subconsciously, this other person is able to read when you are not congruent with who you are. Just talk like you would normally talk to anybody. Just have a conversation like you would have a regular conversation with anybody. And then lastly, if you want some kind of information, you absolutely have to understand the principle of reciprocity. It simply means you have to give to receive. For example, let's say you want somebody's name. Always offer your name first before the other person tells you their name. When you give somebody something, they are more inclined to give to you what it is that you gave to them. If I want somebody's name, hey, by the way, I never asked you for your name. My name is JC, by the way. That person is far more inclined to give me their name if I do that as opposed to me going like, hey, nice to meet you, nice jacket, man, what's your name? So now that you have these tools and these tips, go out of your way to at least talk to 2 people a day and let me know in the comment section how they work for you. These tools and these tips are things that I use in my personal life to meet strangers all the time. And so I have a great social life simply because I follow these principles. Let me know how these principles work for you. With that said, hold firm in the struggle. Peace.